All right, boys and girls, welcome back. We are here at the Aplpt Sydney, here at Canterbury-Hurlstone Park RSL for day one of the Jackstar Super High Roller. Getting back underway here. This is our third session of play here on day one. Blinds at 600 at 1200 with the 1200 big blind ante. Now welcoming back our same feature table participants from our last session.
Seat 9, race 27.
Just before we headed to break, we saw Toby pick up a huge double up with a straight versus a open ender that turned itself into a bluff.
2,700.
He also made a really nice hero call with the bottom pair against Rob just before we wrapped up the session. We'll see if he's able to keep up that momentum as we continue here at the 1200 big blind level. These two are going to play another pot together here to get us started once again, and this one is all Toby. Rob has caught the bottom pair, just enough of a piece that he'll probably have to pay off a continuation bet. Toby going to wonder how much can he get out of this. He's going to start with a bet of 3,000. 4,000, forgive me. Half pot size.
C2 call.
Very reasonable call with the bottom pair on the flop here. You're not looking to invest much more than this initial 4,000 with this 6-5 offsuit, but you don't want to let your opponent push you around too much with these flop C bets, especially from the button. Checked over. Toby with the top two, 15,000 in the middle. Don't think check is an option that he's even going to remotely consider. The question is how much can he bet here? Around about 2/3 pot is the number he settles on, 9.5k. Rob at this point can only beat a pure bluff. There is some straight draws that may be doing this that would make plenty of sense, but also a lot of hands that are crushing your bottom pair, and he will make the correct fold. Guys, if you are watching, let us know who you're cheering for. If you're watching from a particularly long way away, I'd love to know where you're watching from as well. If you can, hit that like button, the subscribes, the follows, whatever it is on your respective viewing platform. We will be playing this one down to the end of day. So I believe we've got a 2-hour session here and then one more 2-hour session, and we will be bagging up for all remaining players. One level of registration still open tomorrow at the start of the day.
I have no idea. After level 14, I think.
But we do have a 150k guarantee on this prize pool.
Seat 8 4. Seat 9 4.
Oh, maybe not 11, because maybe level 12.
You can see our field numbers currently in that top right corner. 72 entries so far. Off to a pretty good start.
Seat 1 4. C2 call. C3 check. C2 check.
Yeah, I think it'll be another 3 levels and then a 15-minute break and then 2 more. That's how it's on the other one.
Both players catching a little bit of it here in this blind v blind confrontation. The 7-2 off for Rob has picked up a gut shot. He's going to have to pay to chase it though. 2k from the bottom pair. Ends with a gut shot himself.
Yeah, we played 12 levels. So these three, then a break and 3 more.
To turn now, Jack of Hearts. Neither player will be overly thrilled with that, but they do both pick up a weak flush draw to go along. with their straight draws and Dennis along with his pair.
The deep freeze they had here, what, 2 days
Seat
ago?
2 bet
had
4,500.
11K overload.
Yeah, that's the only reason I came and played it.
Oh, you played it?
Seat
Oh,
3
okay.
call.
I knew it was going to, well, I didn't know, but I guessed it was going to overlay. So.
We're going to stick around with the call facing
Oh,
this
everybody on
second street of aggression here. 7 high flush draw and a gut shot, but
I didn't play.
he is going to make it to the river with just 7 high. The problem we face when we call turns with hands of this category is when we do miss, we're kind of in no man's land. Donking the river doesn't make all that much sense. Checking the river, we're often just going to face a check back and lose even if they miss themselves. Really stuck with having to pick one of
Seat 2
the 2 bad options.
Seat 3 check. Showdown, please.
Thank you.
Seat 7 4. Seat 8 raise 25. Seat 9 call. Seat 1 4. Seat 2 4.
Boyan is a late addition to this table, getting amongst it with some pretty speculative hands just before we send our players on their dinner break. This time he's got a real holding with the pocket sixes. He's in an early position, however, and Toby,
Seat
perhaps
5
after
call.
seeing some of those weaker holdings getting amongst it, happy to peel one off with the Queen Jack in middle position here. This is a graphics error, by the way.
Seat 5 check.
This is supposed to be a raise for 2,500 rather than 25,000.
Seat 8 bet 3,500. Seat 9 call. Seat 5 4.
So we are looking at, I think, around a 16k pot at this point, 16, 17k. Yeah, going to fire the second barrel with the sixes here. Just the under pair on the flop. 11k, and Toby with the second pair is in a little bit of an awkward spot. And this is a bit of 11k into a pot of, I think, around 17. It's a healthy size. Toby not ready to give up on the second pair just yet, however, and we're going to a river. Around about 40k in the middle now. 8 of diamonds. And with about a pot-sized bet behind.
Seat 8 check. Seat 9 check. Showdown, please.
Oh. It's a lot more than a pot-sized bet behind. But never mind. We do see a check. Toby is going to scoop that pot. Around about 40k. Sure we'll get those stack sizes fixed up shortly, but they may be a little bit off for a moment.
So I'm big time now.
You wait for one turn. Seat 8 4, seat 9 4. Seat 1 4. Seat 2 4.
Remaining in flat bar, the remaining event, please head back to your call, your tables, your 2-minute call. Please play the remaining flat bar, the remaining event.
Seat 3 4. Seat 5 call option. Seat 7 check.
They're going to play this one slow with the ace-queen, just starting with a limp in the small blind. Going to get a pretty spectacular flop for her hand. Top pair, strong kicker, gut shot. Starting off with a check, though.
Seat 7 4.
Playing it this slowly can certainly cost value up against a number of hands, but against the 6-3, it's not going to make any difference this time around. So chip count's just there. Toby's count will be slightly off. It's probably about 40k a high.
What was your last name?
That graphics error is being worked on at the moment. Should be tidied up in about 15 minutes' time. If it does become relevant in any hand, I'll try my best to keep track, and I'll make sure to clue you guys in.
Yep. Right, okay, got it. Thank you. Seat 9 4. Seat 1 4. Seat 2 raise 2,500. Seat 3 4. Seat 4 4.
Probably the ace-9 from early position.
Seat 5 4.
Gonna bump us up to 2,500. Antian in the big blind. Queen Jack offsuit, I'm confident will be strong enough to make the call here.
Seat 8 check.
Jack 6-3, pretty good for Jan's Queen Jack. Not much on this flop at all for Rob. He's going to start by just checking it back. The spades not really changing anything at all.
$4,000. Seat 8 bet 4,000.
Healthy bet size on the turn here from Jan, trying to get some value out of his top pair. Seen Rob make a couple of light floats. Does he decide to do it with the ace-9 here? No, not this time. He'll make a great fold.
Seat 6 coming in. Seat 1 fold. Seat 2 raise 2,500. Seat 3 fold. Seat 4 fold. 5 fold. Seat 6 fold.
On and a half.
Seat 7 raise 9,500.
I think Declan's slow playing a lot of
Seat 8
hands
fold.
pre-flop so far over the
Seat
course of our
9
last
fold.
session of play. This time he is going to
Oh,
bring
Yeah,
in
I
the
started
3-bet with the
4
ace king
5K,
up to
maybe
9.5k. Healthy size 3-bet. Rob probably has noticed how passive Declan's pre-flop strategy has been so far, but with a hand as strong as 10s, I don't know that there's much to do other than just flick in the 7k and see what develops on the flop.
Seat 2 all in.
Fold. Yeah.
Oh, geez, this
seven,
all-in
all in
seems
call.
aggressive.
My nemesis hand.
Yeah, I mean, against a player that's 3-betting really, really aggressively, I can see this jam. But we've opened +1 and got 3-bet by the guy who's shown that even his ace-queens, he's preferring to just flat.
My jacket.
Rob's fortunate to just run into the ace-king here. I think he's often going to be dominated if this hand plays out 100 times. As it stands, Declan's going to find himself the top pair on the flop. The turn is pretty clean. He just needs to fade a 10 to stay alive in this thing, and he's going to on the 7 of spades.
Yeah. You haven't seen the hands we've had at the table too. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprising if
Every pair of 10s has made a set all day.
43,900.
Big double up for Declan there
900.
to 90k.
So 50,943 check 7.
Thank you. Small blind.
Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 raise 2,700. Seat 6 fold.
They picked
seat
up a lot of
7
premium
fold.
pairs in our previous session of play, and they seemed to do
eight
wonders
fold.
for her. Pretty consistently taking down at least healthy sized pots with them.
Seat 9
Going
call.
to try and continue that story here. Very loose flat here from Toby in the small blind. To Rob in the big with the ace-8.
Seat 2 call.
Gonna start off with a call. Off to a flop we go. Nearly 10,000 in the middle already.
Casa Life สวย Seat 9
Oh
check.
boy. This is dangerous for Rob. He just lost a huge pot a moment ago after he jammed the 10s and got called by the ace-king. Whilst that flipped to Declan. And now he's found himself with trips on the flop.
3,200.
And he is drawing pretty
nine
slim.
fold.
25% equity against Claire's full house. It's just talking about how well these pocket pairs have treated her. Toby just lets us know in the Facebook chat. He thought he was the big blind this hand. That makes sense. I was wondering what was going on here. Jack of Hearts on the turn.
C2
Claire
check.
still a huge favourite here with the queens
C5
full
check.
of aces. And she is going to slow play it and check it back. Guys, I've said... Never mind about what I've said. This check back is actually going to save her a fortune. Of course, most river cards, this check back is going to be costing her a truckload of value. I've seen a lot of slow plays, and they've not all worked out very well. In fact, most of them haven't. But Claire, fortunately this time, that slow play is going to work out for the wrong reason. Rob actually going to find himself with aces full here. And to be honest, I don't know how you don't give the guy a full double anyway with these queens.
C2 bet 14,000.
That's a big bet, 14k.
C5 raise.
Jam, and we're going to see a snap call, and Claire's going to get the bad news.
You win, I fold.
Uh,
Oh, well.
C4, C2 4. 14.
What? What just happened? No way. You guys have got to be kidding me.
That was heaps nittier than your ace queen.
What is it?
That was heaps nittier than your ace queen before. It was good.
I'm just on there. What can I say? Nothing.
What? He had aces full.
Find some change for you. Can you get some change, please?
Do you need black or just blue?
Yes, yes. Black chip as well.
You got some extra tips from me too, because I thought I was big blind.
Oh boy. Oh man, yeah, Rob, the YouTube and Twitch chats are
Oh, wow. Ace king.
they're pretty shocked about that one.
What would you have?
Pocket queen.
Oh, that's like the one value hand you lose to.
Yeah.
C5 4.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's funny.
Call.
Fold.
Call. C6 call. C7 4, C8 4, C9 4. That's a call.
Oh guys, all right. The chat is going ballistic over that fold. That might be the most absurd fold I've ever seen. Just putting it out there. I mean, I get it. The jam looks very strong. Ace Queen is possible. Ace Jack is possible. Jacks is also possible. Queens is also possible.
C2 check. C4 check.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't imagine Rob enjoyed seeing that one.
C6 bet 3,300.
Is someone able to like clip that over in the YouTube chat or something and get that to me? We're gonna.
C4.
Oh boy. All right. Anyway, back to the action.
17,000.
Now that I've caught my breath. Rob has found himself all in 2 overs and a flush draw here. Pretty good flop to go ahead and get the rest of the chips in. He is up against the top pair of Jun, and I think Jun has a pretty clear call here as well. We see about the top pair, we get jammed on. Sometimes we're going to be beat here, of course, but there's plenty of stuff that we're going to be doing reasonably well against. Flush draws being a big part of that range. Rob with a slight equity advantage on the flop here. Going to have to find himself a queen or a heart to stay alive.
It's a fun card.
Oh, good. Thank
King
you.
of Diamonds introduces a few extra outs. Straight draw now in
I
play.
like it, Rob.
Unlucky.
10 of Diamonds is not going to be it, however. Rob going to be hitting the rail after that one.
Small blind, big blind, please.
Yeah, that was something else, guys. I mean, I understand not loving getting jammed on with the ace-8, right? Like, that's probably going to be a full house a very high percentage of the time. I don't think it's going to be a bluff, maybe ever. And I think maybe once in a blue moon, it's going to be ace-king. But it can be queens full.
Seat 6
And it
call,
can be
seat 7
jacks full.
fold.
Yeah, we just got to call that one. We just have to do it. If we make
Seat
aces
8
full
raise
versus aces full,
2,500.
that's a fine way to bust a poker
Seat 9
tournament.
fold. Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 call. Seat 6 call.
YouTube chat understandably going ballistic, but I'm seeing
That's
some
all
cheers
right,
of girl
it's still
power and
okay.
let's go Claire. Yeah, let's not forget the beneficiary of that hand. Claire actually managing to somehow get aces full to fold, taking that pot down with the worst hand.
Seat 5 check. The flop is Ace of Diamonds, 5 of Hearts, and Queen of Spades. Seat 5 check. Seat 6 check.
Pretty good flop here for Claire. Top 2 pair.
Seat
Not
8
much for her
bet
to get
4,000.
value from here, but Yan is going to go ahead and try and take a stab at this.
Seat 5 raise
Claire, after
12,000.
just flatting in the big blind, certainly going to be a lot stronger
Seat
than
6 fold.
Yan gives her credit for. Now, it's also just worth noting, guys, I'm just going to put it out there. It looks like Claire's jam wasn't for all that much more. She had about 23k more than the graphic stated when she did jam that hand. So it's not like it was a min raise or anything. It was actually a reasonable sized jam.
Seat 8
I do
fold.
think it is going to be primarily full houses, right? Even if we want to count the combos, if we want to be like really nitty gritty about it, there's one ace left.
Seat 1
There's
is
3
fold.
queens and 3 jacks. So the 6 combos are full house that you lose to. I don't think she's going to show up with ace-8 there very often. There's also 3 combos of queens and 3 combos of jacks. So like maybe you expect to be out of the tournament half of the time. Maybe. But the other half of the time you get a full double plus all of the chips in the middle. You just got to call this one. Pretty sick. Pretty insane hand.
Seat 7 fold. Seat 8 fold. Seat 9 raise 2,700. Seat 1 fold. Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 fold. $2.7. Seat 6 call.
We're going to find himself the nut flush draw on this flop. Jun makes the light defend in the big blind. He's just got the king high with the 3 high flush draw. Equity is looking pretty slim. I'll start with a check. Seems like a reasonable spot for Toby to take a stab and try and take this down.
C9 bet 4,000.
I'd say you shouldn't have too much resistance in that endeavor.
C6 fold. Small line, big line, please.
Mr. Jetlag says he folded a full house, honey. And yeah, she, I think she thought her boat was good too. Yeah, I think so as well. She was 100% value betting her hand. There was no ideas of bluffing or anything. She has a full house and she's jamming for value. I think Rob's correctly assessed that that's what's happening. That she is jamming, hoping that she gets called. The thing is just that we can beat her when she gets called.
Oh, is it this hand? Oh, it's not now.
Pardon?
I literally can't. You have to move your card to the box.
Oh,
Sorry.
the blind on. I had nothing. If you checked, I probably would have bet one big blind, but I'm like, I've learnt my lesson in those blind lead big blind things.
Yeah, with the king 10, wouldn't surprise me to see him open this one up. He certainly has shown that he's happy to play with any excuse.
Seat 8 raise.
Toby's got a hand where
2,500.
probably going to be enticed to increase the price even further, especially after what he's seen Yan playing so far.
Seat 8 raise 2,500 and now seat 9 raise 7,500.
7.5 to go, says Toby.
Seat 4 4. Seat 5 4. Seat 6 4. Seat 7 4. Seat 8 call. Seat 8 check. Seat 9 check.
So we're going to get out flopped here. This king 10 is loose as an open. This is incredibly loose as a call against the 3-bet. And we see a check on the flop. And Toby's going to find a dream card on the turn. He's going to pick up trips up against the top pair of Yan. Going to just start with a caller here. And he'll try and squeeze the value out of his hand on clean rivers.
Seat 8 bet 10,000. Seat 9 call showdown, please.
Well, we do see a small size, a block bet from Yan, and Toby not feeling that he's able to raise for value with the 3 spades out there. Just makes the call. We'll get some value information about Yan's pre-flop range, however, and he will scoop a nice pot.
People coming in. Seat 9 4. Seat 1 raise 2,500. Seat 2 4. Seat 4 4. Seat 5 4.
New additions to the table here.
6 4.
Julia and Joey are going to be
7
joining
4.
us. Joey's going to be welcomed with a pair of 8s here as well.
Seat 8
He's going
call
to open it
25.
up.
One
Way
more
around
please.
to Yan in the big blind. Graphics just catching up, but it looks like this is going to be a heads-up pot.
Yep. Seat 8 check. Seat 1 bet 2,200. Seat 8 call. Seat 8 check. Seat 1 check. Seat 8 check. Seat 1 check. Showdown please. Ace and 9
Going to be a
hand.
pretty tame one. Yan going to catch his 9. Not a whole lot of action. It's going to be a small pot going his way. Massive chip leader is Toby at the moment. Those graphics are just about to be updated any moment, so his stack is still maybe about 40,000 too much according to that graphic, but still, even with that, very significant lead over the rest of the table.
Seat 1 raise 2,500. Seat 2 call. Seat 4 fold. Seat 5 fold. Seat 6 fold. 7 fold. Seat 8 raise 8,600. Seat 9 fold.
Right, Yam's going to get amongst it here. We've seen him playing
Seat 1
very
fold,
loose,
king to come.
getting after it with any excuse. Joe and Julia won't be privy to just how loose he's playing, I imagine, but despite that, he has picked up a real hand here in the small blind. He's going to bump it up to 8.6k with the pocket 10s.
Yep.
Not up against
Two
anything
fold.
really significant. He is just going to be taking that one down.
Thank you.
Oh, big bluff coming up.
Small blind.
I thought you had ace queen when you shot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Seat 2 raise 2,500. Seat 4 fold.
Julia going to get after it here with a loose open from under the
Seat
gun.
5
King
fold.
10.
Seat 6 fold.
Get all the way around
Seat
it to
7 call.
Declan. We've seen him playing really passively pre-flop. We've seen the ace-queen flatting a couple of times out of the small. We saw the aces slow played earlier. We did see him 3-bet and call off the ace-king a little while ago to win a flip against a pocket 10s, but here he is just going to flat the ace-king.
Seat 8 call.
This is going to let Yan Yan come into the
Seat
pot
9
with his
call.
suited
Seat
gapper,
1 call.
Toby with the suited ace, and Joey with the jack 10, all going to be able to come along now as well. This ace king missing out on a big opportunity to deny value from basically the entire table. This is what happens
Blind sub next hand.
when
Check
we
out the
slow play our
check.
big hands, when we miss out on those
Seat 1
opportunities
check.
to 3-bet. Somehow, with all of that, Ace-King is still technically the best hand after a whole lot of whiffs, but
8,000. Seat 7-4.
Julia is the one who's going to fire the continuation bet. Ace-King can't do anything about it. Could have almost certainly taken this down pre-flop.
Seat 8
As it
call.
stands,
Seat 9
the end is going to be the odds-on
Seat 1
favourite against the field to take this down with 2 overs and the gut shot, backdoor flush draw. Down to heads up now, and Julia's actually out in front with her king high. Jack of Diamonds going to introduce that flush draw to Yan Yan's arsenal.
Seat 2 bet 11,000.
Relentless aggression here from Julia. Just the naked king high, going to go ahead and fire a second barrel. She is actually ahead here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Equity's running very close. She's not going to stay ahead, however. The 8 of hearts on the river is going to give Yan the best hand.
Seat 2 check.
Lucky he didn't
I
check
can't believe
raise
you
on the
folded.
flop. Because he probably gets jammed. He maybe calls.
Seat 8 all in.
Oh boy. Jeez. Yeah, he rivers some showdown values. Hand makes a pretty nice check back, in my opinion, but he decides he's going to jam. I've not the slightest inkling of whether he's trying to get called by worse or trying to bluff off better. But I mean, there's 4 to a straight. We've got second pair. I don't know. It feels like a pretty clear check back to me. Yeah, and decides that he's just going to pile the pressure onto his opponent. See if the relentless aggression will get the job done. And this time it will, but it was not needed.
What do you want, sir?
This is for seat 2. This
Yeah.
is for seat 4. Thank you.
25. And then
25. Thank you. Seat 4 call. Seat 5 4. Seat 6 4. Seat 7 4.
I don't know what it is today, but people just don't seem to want to raise with ace-king. Chris going to start things off with a limp under the gun here.
28 please.
28.
Yep.
Yeah, with the 6-2 of hearts is
Seat
going to go
8
ahead and
was
raise things up.
2,800. Seat 9 4.
The question was
Seat
this
1
limp
4.
designed as a trap to try and bring
2,800
over the
is
top of a raise like this, or
28. Seat 2
is
4.
Chris just playing this passively? Julie going to go ahead and call for an additional 1 big blind. Over to Chris. And those look like raising chips.
Seat 4 raise. 11,300.
Pretty cheeky trap. Chris is fortunate. The hand's decided that even this piece of cheese is good enough for a raise and brings the trap to 11.3k. Given what I've seen so far, it's not going to blow my mind if he decides he wants to peel a flop with this suited hand here.
Seat 8 4.
He does decide against it.
Six,
Back
two,
over to
four.
Julia. Queen 7 suited. She will also relinquish. Chris will be able to take that one down pre-flop. Risky slow play, but he's made it work out for him this time.
Wouldn't mind that.
Big line and play, please.
We missed the second one from the last set. Bring that third out.
At least you get a comfy chair.
Yeah, that's
Being
true.
up
It is
here.
nice.
I actually hate these chairs. I prefer the
I don't
rigid
mind
ones.
these.
I think it's more the height of the rail that's really annoying. And
Yeah, the rail is a bit harsh.
I hate feature tables.
Seat 5,
Unless you're on a
4.
final table, then it's fun.
It's funny, you know, you've been like playing, like grinding
Call.
1 week of
Seat
poker
6
when your
call.
arm starts to
Seat
hurt you
7
and
fold.
shuffling and stuff.
Seat 8, 4. Seat 9, raise 4,200. Seat 1, 4. Seat 2, 4. $4.2. Seat 4, 4. Seat 6, call. Seat 6, check. 9,
Big
check.
whip for both players here. He has decided to flat the Queen Jack suited in position against June. Repeat 3, not going to change anything. Maybe may decide to start turning this into a
Nine
bluff here.
checks.
Maybe try and get some ace highs and king highs to fold, but decides not completely necessary just yet. 10 of clubs on the river. That queen high is ahead. It could not call a bet.
6, check. 9, check. Showdown, please.
So we're just going to check it back. Just giving up. Probably expecting mostly to lose, but he is going to take it down with that queen high.
Seat 6, raise 3,000. 7, 4. 8, 4. 9, 4. 1, 4. 2, 4. Seat 4, 4. 3,000. Blind is 7, 14, 14 now. Seat 5, call.
They're going to go ahead and defend the king 9 facing the under the gun open here. Going to get
Seat 5,
another
check.
pretty nothing flop. 6 high, 2 clubs. Nothing at all out there for Jun either, just with the 2 overcards here.
4.5.
Seat 6 bet 4,500.
Gonna go ahead and fire in the continuation bet anyway. I'd say there's a good chance it's gonna work against the king high
Seat
player.
5 fold. Seven fold. Seat 8 fold. Seat 9 raise 3,200.
We're going to start this one off with an open. 3.2k to go over Joey, King Queen
Seat 1 raise
offsuit.
7,000. Seat 2 fold.
Very small 3-bet size here, up to
Seat
7k.
4 fold.
Only just a little bit more than 2x.
Seat 5 fold.
Just going to make the discipline fold with the King Jack. Claire having to sadly let go of a 10-9 suited. And we're over to Jun now with the Ace Queen. Awkward spot in the big blind here. Cold calling this doesn't feel like a great option. Folding doesn't feel like a great option. 4-betting seems risky, but we have to pick one of the bad
6
options.
fold. Big blind.
I'm just going to go
14.
ahead and get out of the way with the
You
Ace
have to pick
Queen
me big
here.
blind.
Looks really tight, and it is really tight, but it is understandable. It's so difficult to play spots like this out of position, facing an open and a 3-bet in front of us. Back over to Toby now. This price is too good for us to ever need to fold. The question is, does he want to turn this into a 4-bet bluff or not?
7k.
Seat 9 call 7,000.
And we are off to a flop, 17,500 in the middle. Toby is ahead with his ace high going to the flop, and he's going to pair that ace. Handful of nice backdoor draws to go along with that top pair as well. He's actually sitting at 99% equity here, but with a pretty questionable kicker against a pre-flop 3-better. There is a world where Toby could get blown off of this hand. Of course, there's no world where it's going to happen on the flop against this C-bet. 4 of hearts is going to make it a bit easier for Toby to stick around, at least to the river as well. Open ender added to the toolkit. Over to Joey, and he is going to pull the trigger on a second barrel.
14,000.
Healthy size too, a little over half pot. This does set up for a nice river jam size. So we're thinking this through. I don't think there's much to be done other than just flicking the call. We've of course got a bit of showdown value. We can beat all of the bluffs.
Seat 9 raise 40,000.
Toby decides to go ahead and go for the check
Seat
raise
1
here.
fold.
Of course, gets the snap fold. I don't know if this is just more of like an equity realization kind of raise here. I don't think we're often going to be getting called by worse. So let's know in the Facebook chat. Joe Stack's actually close to 140k.
Not like this.
Error on the graphic there as well.
I had the best hand, That was just in case I didn't, but
You definitely have the best hand.
yeah. When I raised, I thought I might not, but it achieves two things.
Seat 8 4. Seat 9 4.
3,000.
Seat 1 raise 3,500. Seat 2 4. 3,500. Seat 4 4. Seat 5 call.
Collection of really nice looking hands here. Joe with the ace king going to get it started off with a race of 3.5. Claire on the button with the jack 10 suited. Beautiful spot to flick in a call and try and play this hand in position.
Seat
Jun
6
with the pocket
raise
nines here
9,000.
in the small blind, however, has something else to say
Seat
about it.
7 4.
So we're at to 9k, and this is actually very small. This is less than 3x out of position as a squeeze. I don't think you're going to expect to get this through ever. Over to Joey with the ace king. Certainly strong enough to 4-bet. Difficult to play this hand multi-way, and especially difficult when one of the players has position on you as well. And if we do call, Claire's almost certainly going to be calling on the button with any hand that she did flat initially with. 4-bet has arrived, and this kind of asks Jun the question of, do you want to play for the stack or not? It's really difficult to call and play this out of position with half your stack already in there.
Seat 6 4.
Really brutal spot here for Jun, but he does eventually decide to make the fold.
You have me dealer next hand. Thank you. Thank you.
But bring that play. Your button will start in seat number 6. Button will start in seat 6. Your blind will be 100, 100. You're going to circle up and deal.
Nine folds. One folds. Two raises 3,000. Four folds. Five folds. Six folds. Seven folds, 3,000.
Aggression from Julia here. +2 early position, but she's happy to get in there with the suited 3-gapper. Declan in the small, going to stick around with the king-queen offsuit. Julia's going to find her card on the flop here as well. Top pair.
Seven folds.
C-bet and a quick fold from Declan.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, we're...
So,
I'm usually pretty good at waiting till the first two cards are out, and I just
That's
poor
okay.
judgment. Sorry, mate.
No, it's anti.
It's anti.
One folds, two folds.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just putting up your hand, you are on a 15-minute break. That is a 15-minute break in the ladies' division.
Nice suited hand here for Chris. He is in early position. Not early enough that he's not willing to put the open in, though.
5 folds, 6 folds, 7 folds.
Turn card for you. Good turn card.
Yeah.
Flush draw, turn draw.
Yeah.
Holding around to Toby in the big 9-3 of diamonds. Going to go ahead and make the call here with the suited hand. He is dominated this time around. But he is going to pair his 3. Jack 9 of spades for Chris, picking up an open ender on this flop as well. He's going to have to at least commit some chips to this pot if he's going to get it to showdown.
Cost 27.
Ace of diamonds on the turn is a really interesting card. Chris obviously can go ahead and try and represent that with a double barrel as the early position opener, but Toby, after picking up the flush draw as well to go along with his 3, hard to imagine him not sticking around and seeing the 5th street.
Oh, that's 8,500. 8.5.
8-5.
Healthy bet size as well, 8,500. These double flush draw boards, especially when connected, generally will see larger sizes used on these. Like, you can probably justify overbetting this turn, realistically.
9 calls, 8.5.
For 8,500, seems like a very reasonable price to stick around with a pair plus the flush draw. And Toby, of course, is actually ahead with that 3 up until the river, that is. This board has all of a sudden gotten very, very dicey. Bottom pair is going to be good basically never. I wonder if there's an argument for turning this specific hand into a bluff now. I wonder if you can expect to ever get your opponent to fold a hand like 2 pair. There we go. We see Toby's thinking along those exact lines. I think 2 pair, maybe we can get it to fold. Maybe we can't. A pair of jacks, yeah, that one's going to be hitting the mark, I'm confident. Really difficult to put your opponent on a bluff here. The front door flush draw has come in. It's 4 to a straight. Toby's done a great job here of putting chips in post-flop while he's ahead, and the second that he gets sucked out on, he finds a way to steal the pot anyway.
Six folds.
3,000.
7 raises, 3,000.
A6 suited for Declan. We've seen a lot of slow playing with Ace King so far on this feature table. I don't think we're going to be seeing it slow played this time. Stone is more than happy to get amongst it and play hands, and also seen him play a couple of spots aggressively as well, and looks like this one is not going to be an exception. 9.5k is the new price to go. Back to Declan with the suited Ace-6.
7 folds.
Not going to get involved. Happy to just relinquish that one. Sniffs out that he is behind. Yeah, and he's going to take the pot down.
14. One fold. It's all good. It's all yours. Sit. Yeah. And take that one back as well. Yeah. So 4 folds, 5 folds.
Raise 25.
2 8.
Oh,
Wait a minute. 6 raises 2800.
cool.
7 calls 28.
Couple of nice hands in the earlier positions this time around. It is Jun with the suited ace 10 who will open it up.
8 calls 28. 9 folds.
Declan going to take his sixes, set mining.
1 calls 28. 2800.
Yeah, and has a reasonable enough excuse to come along this time around with the Queen 10. Joeying the small, feels like he's getting a good price with this cheesy hand in the small blind. And Julia getting an incredible price in the big is going to stick around with the Queen Jack. 10 to 1's not a bad price.
1 checks. 2 checks.
What are we looking at here? We've got top pair for Jun, backdoor flush draw. We've got second pairs for both Julia and for Yan. Declan's hand has downgraded significantly, and Joey's hand has flopped about as well as you would expect.
6-3. 6k. Okay, 6,000.
Jun with the top pair is going to be the one betting here. This is a pretty healthy bet size. Close to around half the size of the pot, just shy of.
Folds, 2 folds.
Four of diamonds on the turn. Yeah, drawing extremely thin here. We do see that the Queen of Clubs has already hit the muck. His 10
14,000.
is dominated, so his 2 pair outs are no good. So he's drawing to literally just the Queen of Diamonds on the river to actually win this at Showdown. And Jun's going to give him a price of 14k if he wants to try and see that river. Can I ask him to see the stack? Does he maybe have some devious intentions here? And really thinking this through.
Calls 14.
He is going to go ahead and peel one off here. Just must suspect his opponent is up to no good. 2 of diamonds. That's not the one out that he needs. It does put 4 to a straight on board. Hard to think of too many hands containing a 5 that would have called both streets. Probably narrow it down to ace 5 specifically. If you're a timing tell believer, you can also maybe assume that that hand would not need as long to think about it on the turn. And thinking this through, contemplating if this hand is worth betting once again. Hard to think of too many worse hands that are going to be able to pay us off for a 3rd street, in my opinion. But I do see that we have been called pretty light on the turn. $60k in the stack, 56 in the middle. SPR about 1. block bet 10k. Trying to just get himself a cheap showdown, try and get crying called by some worse hands. Something like an ace-7 might be able to just sign, flick in the 10,000 chips. An unfortunate side effect that a bet like this can sometimes have is it can sometimes convince the other guy that his hand is no good, but that you're not all that strong. Occasionally this can backfire and get you jammed on.
8 calls 10.
This time, however, it is going to get paid off. Jun's done an incredible job of securing himself maximum value out of that hand. It's up a hand that was definitely not worth the amount of chips that pot grew to, but yeah, just did not believe the story that he was being told. Went with his read, made a hero call, and unfortunately for him, he's been shown the top pair.
Sorry? Oh, yeah. I told you straight draw. I figured Ace King, Ace Queen's going to be hard to peel if I raise. I mean, I can just check call, I guess, but it's a good turn to turn mine into a bit of a bluff, like sending bluff. Sometimes, I think.
Calls. 6 calls 1400. 7 folds. 8 raises 3,500. 9 calls 3,500. 1 folds. 2 folds. 4 calls 35. 6 calls 35. 4 checks. 6 checks. 8 checks. 9 checks.
Dealers in the main event, shield lines next hand, 600, 1200, with a 1200 big line ante. That is dealers in the main event, 600, 1200, 1200.
Chris finding himself the nut flush on the turn here. This pot is pretty tame thus far. Understandably, no one's really got anything that they can get themselves into trouble with, especially now that this 4th club hits the board. Chris with the most important of the clubs and no one else with a single one. Strongest hand amongst the field, aside from Chris's flush, is just 3rd pair. Pretty difficult to squeeze a cent out of him.
8 folds. 9 folds. Folds, 7 folds. 8 folds. 9 folds. 1 raises 3,000. 3 folds. 4 folds. 5 folds.
Easy raise and take it there for Joey. 81 entries so far here in our Jackstar Super High Roller. 64 remaining entries still open across the rest of the day and for one level at the start of play tomorrow. 150k guarantee. Joey getting after it here. 6-4 off from the hijackers. Stepping way out of line. This one's not on the charts. Round to Claire. Ace Jack's going to be good enough to come along. And it looks like she might have sussed out what Joey's up to. She's going to bring it in for the 3-bet here, up to 9,000. 6-4 off, not strong enough to be opening, let alone strong enough to call a 3-bet. They're going to take one down.
Oh, 14.
打这么大的心机，打这个冲突感没意思的。过来玩嘛。我喜欢打比赛啊，喜欢打，我从来没看，但我很少打这种打这个。你看大比赛你看吗
？And start.
之前也是黄金海。
Back to English and start. Oh, not during the hand. 8 calls, 1400, 9 folds, 1 fold. Is that 3.5? 2 raises 3.5. 4 folds. 5 folds. 6 folds.
Julia's turn
3 5.
to make the loose open here. Ace-3 from the hijack. He has decided to limp the 10-2 suited under the gun, and he's going to go ahead and call the raise with it as well. Jack 9-4, it's a whiff for both. Julia elects not to go ahead and fire the continuation bet. Probably would have got the job done on the flop, but now he picks up the open-ender on the turn. Julia with just the 3 high flush draw. Looks like she's counting out a call, though. Very unimpressive hands going to battle here. See what the river brings. Repeat 9. Ace high is the winner if it can get to showdown. It looks like Yan has other plans. And Julia will relinquish the ace high. He's going to play a cheeky one there, but he's going to take down the pot in the end. Water Lily over in the YouTube chat asking, is the stream being played? Yeah, so at the APL, we don't like players having to sit there on the phones watching the stream the whole time that way, or we also prefer everyone to be able to have access to the same information rather than some people having their buddies watch and relaying hand info and stuff like that. So what the solution is to just set a screen up where all the players at the feature table can see it, so they can see the delayed stream as it comes. So all of the hands that they're playing, 20 minutes later when that delay catches up, they're going to be able to just take a peek at the screen up there and see if they got bluffed, see if they made the good fold. Both players going to pick up a draw on this flop here. Toby's the more impressive of the two, second nut flush draw, and he is the one that's betting at it. Again with the open ender. Given what we've seen from him so far, I would be shocked to not see him make the call against the continuation bet here. There's some spicy turns I can think of. The 4 of diamonds, not all that exciting. Check, check, and we will see a river, and that 5 of spades is going to see Yan pick up one of the outs that he didn't know he was looking for. Toby probably suspects that he has a bit of showdown value here, and I think that's not an unreasonable thing for him to suspect. Betting this 5 here doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I'd say there's actually a chance it might get heroed by the King High.
Hey, yeah.
Toby a little bit frustrated to see what he's been sucked out on
I thought this
high
one
here, but not too significant of a pot. He'll shake that one off.
Blinds are 800.
this is a fun hand.
Blinds are up starting this hand. 8, 16, 16.
I turned a flush draw, so I figured diamond or heart, I can bomb river.
I'm button now.
16. One folds, 2 folds. Four folds. 5 raises, 4,000. 6 folds, 7 folds. 8 folds.
Now you're going to pick up yet another big pocket pair here. King's in the hijack.
9 folds, 4.
Hold around to Toby in the big. He will make the defend with the 8-6 off. You won't realise how rough of a shape that he is in pre-flop.
English only.
See if he's able to catch any help on the flop here. Well, that's the kind of flop that he's going to need if he's going to be beating a pair of kings by the river. Going to check it over. About 5.5k, around about half pot, and Toby, unsurprisingly, going to be sticking around. 4 of hearts is not quite the turn card that he is after.
5 bets, 7.5.
There with a very quick second barrel here. Sizing down a little bit. Maybe enough to consider maybe taking a call, hoping that your implied odds are going to do some favours, but when the bet comes out that quickly, usually that's going to mean there's a bit of strength there. Toby gets out of the way with just his open-ender. Much more difficult to chase those kind of draws when there's 2 flush draws on board as well.
2 folds.
King 10 suited for Christopher here in the +1 position.
Four calls, 16 needed. 5 folds.
Oh, sorry.
6 folds, 7 folds. This is spades, this spades. Eight raises, 3,600.
Yan with comparatively pretty strong hand here on the button. Going to make the call against the early position open. Toby with the 2 8s in the small blind. Happy to take flop here. Doesn't want to bloat this pot with the medium pair. Play it almost halfway as a set mine from out of position. Joey with the King 10. Reasonable enough hand to go ahead and flick in the call. Oh, forgive me. So Chris is actually limped from +1.
4 raises, 27,500.
Wow, look at this. We saw him limp raise the Ace-King offsuit under the gun earlier. This time he's gone ahead and made the same move with the King 10 suited. One big criticism that I'll often have, and others will often have for plays like that limp raise under the gun, is that it's just always a monster. Chris here showing that he's actually tricky enough to go ahead and work some bluffs into his range there as well. And this is going to put the entire rest of the field into a pretty awkward spot.
No, I understand, but like it's like the fourth time now in a hand.
A little bit of drama. I'm not sure what the problem was there.
Eight faults. 9 faults. 1 fault.
Well, Chris has managed to get the 2 better hands to fold with this play, and yeah, it looks like he's also going to get the same hand to fold in the big blind. Some fancy feet there, and Chris is going to steal that one away with the limp raise.
Any other language than English, you will receive a penalty on your next offence. Do you understand? Anytime.
It's okay when you don't have cards. So you can explain to him. Sorry?
Shouldn't be speaking non-English.
If you don't have cards, it's fine.
Doesn't matter. They've been asking us to speak non-English.
I'm just telling him he can explain it to him.
Yeah. Oh, in that instance, you can.
But generally, when you don't have cards, it's no different to texting someone. Like, you give your ruling, it's fine. Sorry, I thought you left. I was just telling him to explain it.
I'm saying if someone else
that's fine.
understands what they're talking about and they are talking about the game, then I have to do something about it.
4 faults. 5 faults. 6 faults. 7 faults.
Does that apply to whole tournament?
Seems like just a concern about non-English table talk. The rule is while we're between hands, it's generally accepted. While there's a hand in progress,
Out of the hand,
English only.
No, I don't understand that.
That was like in a 4.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, 2 calls 10,000.
I'm just surprised he corrected out of the hand. Like,
Yeah, that's
if there's no cards, it should be fine.
8 calls 10,000. Checks. 9 checks.
Whiffs for everyone so far. The 10s of Toby still holding on strong. This pot did get pretty bloated pre-flop, actually.
Sorry, did you hear that?
32,000 already in there.
So about 6,000.
Julia, with just the Queen 2 suited, going to go ahead and take a stab at this.
6.
8.
No pair, no draw, no backdoor, no nothing. Just going to take a stab for 6,000 here. That is not a price that 10s are going to be folding for. King of Hearts, not quite the river that Toby would have been wishing for, but it is a river that he is still holding the best hand. Whether he can get it to showdown or not is a different story. 16,000, a little bit of a healthier bet size, but Toby's going to make Julia showdown the hand. And the 10s are going to be good. Amassing a pretty monstrous chip stack over this session of play is Toby. A couple of big pots just as we headed towards our dinner break in the last session of play, and since coming back, the momentum has hardly slowed for a moment. And very close to the 400,000 chip mark now. Both players going to catch a 7 on this flop. Julia's kicker is looking to play here. Will be decisive if these guys go to a showdown as it stands. Wow, Julia's just going to go ahead and pull the trigger on a jam here. This is very aggressive. Now, oftentimes in limped pots, blind versus blind, that ace being on board is not so scary. Generally speaking, you would expect if one player was holding an ace, they probably would have put in a raise pre-flop. Obviously not always going to be the case, but oftentimes is, so you can be a little bit more confident with second pairs on those kind of flops, but yeah, this is very aggressive play from Julia, and she's unfortunately not able to get paid off by a hand she's got basically pipped. Oftentimes, if someone's folding the hand that's just 1 or 2 pips worse than yours when you're going for value, that can sometimes be a sign that you're going a little bit too thin. Maybe we need to size down. Maybe we need to check the hand, play it a little bit slower. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but the fact that we can't get paid off by a worse 7 there means that that jam might be a little bit too aggressive when we've got the 7 ourselves.
Calls 1600, 9 calls. One raises 5.5.
Seen Joey playing some pretty loose
4 folds.
holdings so far, really widening up his pre-flop ranges, but this time he's just got a monster. Again, with the limp from early position, the ace-9 was not going to be folding to that ISO raise, and got 15k in the middle already, going to a flop here. Joey just needs to fade an ace and should be in very good shape.
To show them a call. We put 10.
Yeah.
That was 5-5.
Yeah, but
You only
isn't
put
that
10.
a legal raise, 10k?
No, because it was 2 oranges. Dude.
Okay.
Call them over.
So we just have an issue with the change amount.
There is a call. So it's fine. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like everything's fine here, at least in terms of the pot being correct. Everything is likely not going to be fine for Yan. 15k in the middle, 42 behind, and he's flop top against an overpair. Not only that, he's flop top against an overpair of a player who's potentially been the most active and most aggressive pre-flop out of the entire table. Check jam comes in, certainly understandable, and Joey's going to very quickly make that call. He's faded an ace so far. He's got to do it 2 more times. Also needing to fade a 9, and he's going to be winning himself near 100,000 chip pot. But the 9 of spades and the queen of spades. The suck re-suck. That's one for the viewers at
I saw
home.
your reaction on the turn. I didn't see your river reaction.
I saw them both, yeah.
Yeah, the river one would have been nice to see.
What a run out, just like that.
Yeah.
Turn trips, river
Well,
boat.
5%
Nice one.
That's 100,000 chip pot shipping the way of Joey.
Are you gonna let them on the last one? Or?
Toby still with a pretty commanding lead over the rest of the table, but Joey starting to close that gap a little bit. I know we did have a little
Similar
bit
hand.
more than
Oh, yeah,
the
you
graphics
did, yeah.
represented a little while ago. I'm not sure if that's still the case or not.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
if we can get a good look at his
Yeah,
stack.
He's so wild.
Yeah, I played with him.
One of the wildest I've ever played with. He had the sickest year too. He just was winning everything.
He gets lucky too.
He was winning everything for like a year. So he just thought that was just correct. Because I mean, It was just working out for him.
Hard to compete with luck and
Right, he just won everything.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went.
Super loose open here from
It's hard
Toby
to
with the
play
Jack
against him,
10
yeah.
from
I
plus
mean,
one.
If you're going to be bad, like, I don't want to say bad and be rude, but like, aggro bad is better than loose bad, right?
Oh,
Or passive
100%,
bad.
yeah. And everyone guessing every time, yeah.
Oh, I mean, aggro poker is winning poker, like, you know, even if it's bad.
5 folds.
King Queen suited for June here in the big blind.
Might have worked out.
It's going to be 3 ways after Julia decides to stick around with the 8-3 suited as well. Seems to be happy to get involved with pots. 13k in the middle. I mean, if you're going to play the 8-3 of clubs pre, this is probably the kind of flop you're hoping for. I'm going to quickly check around, and it's just going to get better and better for Julia here. She's going to pair her 8 on the turn. Spades are now in play for June. Both the overcards still live as well. Toby's probably lost interest in this hand at this point. I'm going to check over to Julia. And it looks like it's going to be an all-in. This is an overbet. It's like 2x pot.
$32,900. 32,900.
Jun knows that he's going to have a lot of outs here, generally speaking, but
32,900.
for 2x pot, probably just too expensive to chase it. Feels pretty bad to let this one go, though. Much easier to call here with a hand like ace queen of spades. One, because we've got that gut shot to go along with it, but more importantly, because if our opponent ever does show up with an inferior flush draw, we can be in really good shape. The disaster here is when we call with the king queen suited and get shown something like ace 6 of spades. Junior is going to make the call, and he is drawing up against the top pair plus combo draw. Julia'd be in pretty good shape even against something like an overpair, but she just has to actually hold against the king queen, and she's actually not going to be able to. This is a pretty nasty beat. This overbet jam on the turn certainly seems to be too big in theory to be calling with this king queen suited, but just going to decide to gamble and run it, gets rewarded on the river.
Nine folds. 1 folds. 4 folds. 5 folds.
Blind versus blind action here. Been drawing extremely thin pre-flop, just 8% equity.
4,300.
So he's going to start things off with a raise. 4.3k to go, so a healthy size. Declan has made a habit of playing things really slow with pre-flop so far on this feature table. We've seen a couple of ace queens just flatting. We've seen an ace king just calling. We saw aces being played as a trap earlier. A lot of times when a 3-bet would make sense. He just pulled the trigger on one of them. This is the second one, and this time he's going to be taking it down against the king 4.
Set 8. Coming in as big blind. All good.
I don't know if this matters, but my chip can't feed on the whole time. Does it matter?
By a lot or?
I think about 20k.
Like a 20-minute delay change. I was just saying her chip counts wrong by like 20.
Mark Green going to join us as the new addition to the table.
I'm just saying it's a delay. It's a different chip count. Everyone folded up to 6. 6 raises 3,400.
Oh, 8, sorry.
7 folds. 8 folds 3,400. Check. Bet 6,000.
Been busy, Toby.
Not really, mate. I'm not playing many hands. Just some significant ones when I do. Started off by someone just check raising 2 overs and I turned the nuts and he put me in for like 1.5.
1 fold.
I had a VPIP of 3%, 4% at this point. I literally folded. I opened the first hand on the table and then folded for over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 raises 3,500.
We're going to open it up here with the ace queen off a pretty healthy stack.
8 folds.
Back of that huge pot moments ago.
500.
Getting in the 2 overs plus flush draw and finding that 6 of spades. Just going to play a heads up pot here against our table chip leader Toby. And this is a pretty one-sided flop here. Toby going to pick up the top pair plus the gut shot. 2 diamonds on board. June does hold that key ace of diamonds. We'll see if that becomes a factor or not. Well, it's certainly going to be a consideration at the very least. 3rd diamond on board, but it's a diamond that Toby's going to be reasonably happy to see here. Trips now on the turn. 6k is going to be the price. Jude's certainly not going to be folding his hand. Still ahead of a number of bluffs, some straight draws, some weaker flush draws. And he's got good equity against basically anything that isn't a jack or a made flush.
Raises 12k.
He decides to take the aggressive route here with a min click on the turn. Maybe going to make the call, and that min raise is going to be rewarded. Jun's going to find himself with the backdoor flush. It is a paired board, so it is not the nuts, but it is certainly very strong. It's going to be really awkward for Toby facing a bet here, but probably sniff out that his trips aren't going to be good all that often after he does get clicked and then bet into on the river. $15k is the wager. A little under half pot here. A nice size to try and target a hand exactly like Toby has. Try and target maybe some medium flushes, a hand like 8-7 with a diamond. It's defended the big blind and quarter piece. But Toby continues to play fantastic poker here on the feature table. He's going to sniff it out and make the fold with the trips. He's hardly put a foot wrong over the last few hours of play. That's reflected in the 377k stack in front of him. Nice pickup there from Jun as he creeps towards the 200,000 chip mark himself now.
This is your 2-minute call for those players in the rotation. Please get back to your tables.
5 folds.
Couple of decent looking hands in the early positions here.
Put the reds on top.
To the ace queen, going to start things off with a raise.
The reds, they're pretty buried.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay.
6 raises 11,000. 7 folds, 8 folds, 9 folds.
Okay, looks like 3-bet to 11k.
5 folds.
All the way around to Joey. See, disciplined fold with the king queen. Doesn't even consider getting out of line there. Back over to Chris. Does have the best hand.
Red chips on top.
Drive 8,000 more for him to stick around.
60 seconds of those players in the LA rotation. Please take your tables.
Wow, Chris is going to go ahead and make the fold with the ace queen. That's very, very snug. Jun's basically 3-betting for value with a hand that's worse. Generally, if that's the case, you don't want to be giving up those hands.
Seven raises 3,500. 8 folds, 9 folds. 1 folds. 4 folds.
Second hand of one.
I'm going to open up the king queen here. From the +1 position. Nice easy raise and take it there. 92 players so far have entered this tournament. 58 remaining. That prize pool is starting to build. We are going to be sending our players on a break
What time does they come back?
very shortly.
How many?
Then we will still have one session of play remaining, another 2-hour stretch.
11, yeah.
Because they wrote just 1240.
Just one more level.
Yeah. I think
Big one.
Also, as
240
Toby
minute
just said,
levels and a 20 minute
one
level.
level of registration still available tomorrow before we lock it out and confirm our total prize pool, but 150k guarantee.
Tomorrow I can go to the start and play the main.
Yeah, nice.
7 folds.
Hopefully you don't have to.
3.5.
3.5. 8 raises,
It'd be nice to not have to.
9 raises, 10 5. 1 folds. 4 folds.
Oh boy. Toby has been playing incredible poker so far, but he's about to be put to the test.
Raises, 36 down.
Mark has opened the 4s to 3.5 from the +1 position. Toby puts in the 3-bet to 10.5. Gets around to Claire in the small blind. And for all of you timing tells guys out there, this was a very quick 4-bet. There did not seem to be much hesitation or much concern. Yeah, this is pretty spectacular. Toby knows exactly what's going on here at this Jackstar feature table. Queens hitting the muck.
Painful if you have
So Queens versus Aces and lost 6.5 bigs. That's when you know you're in the zone.
Sorry. Thank you.
Queen flop. 3.5.
8 raises, 3,500. 9 folds, 1 folds. 4 folds, 5 folds, 6 folds.
Cool.
7 calls, 3,500. 7 checks. 8 bets, 3,500. 7 folds.
Easy one for Mark there. Catches the top pair, fires in the C-bet, takes it down.
Oh, yeah.
Hope they got my rep.
Yeah, need the doom zoom on you.
Good blind.
Pretty brutal turn card. I mean, 9's the same thing as an ace, really, so.
9 folds, 1 folds. 4 folds. 5 folds. 6 raises, 4,000. 7 folds. 8 calls, 4,000. 8 checks.
They missed it.
All or not much for anyone on this flop.
Sorry, that was really good.
Check 5, 2 hearts, neither player with a heart. Ace high is still in the lead. Mark with a pretty unimpressive backdoor straight draw. And not much else. This is as close to an action turn card as we could imagine, really. Mark does pick up a gut shot. Again, not an impressive one. There's also 2 flush draws out there, but John's actually picked up a reasonably strong hand here with this pair of 7s. Ace kicker.
8 folds. 8 6 raises. 3,500.
9.5.
7 raises 9.5. 8 folds. 9 folds.
Nice suited Broadway hand this time for Jun. Declan decides to go on the aggressive here. We've seen him playing an overwhelmingly passive pre-flop strategy so far, but he switched gears here and put in the 3-bet with the King-Jack against the cutoff open. Looks like it's not going to get through, but Declan does actually have the best hand here going to a flop.
Calls 9-5.
That's a whole lot of diamonds. Declan the only one holding one.
Checks.
Pretty shocking flop for the King-10 of clubs if that's your holding. C-bet should take this down. Nice size continuation bet there. Around about 1/3 pot size. We'll take it down.
Raises 3,200. 6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. 9 folds.
This is looking like Claire should have a pretty easy job taking this down, but Joey's not relinquished his offsuit 4 high yet. It does look like he's going to. This is a very loose defend at the best of times against +1. And against Claire, who's been relatively snug. Definitely going to be better off just moving on to the next hand. Joey flopped basically dead here as well. So it'll get it done. I see Claire just tossing the 10-9 suited into the muck there. That's going to highlight why that 4-3 off makes such a weak defend against her early position open. Also maybe highlights why Toby was so comfortable to quickly fold those queens facing the cold 4-bet earlier. Are going to go to a flop here. It is the pocket sevens playing the king 4, and Chris in the big blind after defending is going to find a pretty dream flop, the top and bottom pair.
That's 35.
Pretty good flop to just go ahead and c-bet with whatever holding you've ended up here with. Sevens not an exception to that.
Raises 8-5.
Was that bad?
If we're on the stream table again, they should give us a free dinner.
Yeah, I think they'll change it for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to.
6 hours on here would be a long time.
Oh, give another table a chance to get on the stream too, you know.
I mean, they changed the first one up to 2 hours, right?
Yeah. I asked, they said they just forgot to or something, or maybe they didn't have time.
Nice fold from Mark, facing the check raise. Easy to level yourself into thinking your opponent's just mucking around, but when we are behind with the sevens, we're drawing pretty close to dead.
Come back and go on to table 1. Time down there. Take all your personal belongings with you. Put your chips in there before you.
Thanks.
You're gonna be on the same seats on the other
The
table.
only reason we didn't move you last is
No, all good.
Alright guys, that is going to be our break there. I think this one's just going to be a short 15-minute comfort break, and then we will be straight back into the action. We'll have a fresh lineup of faces when we do come back. So go and stretch your legs,
one.
grab a drink, freshen up, and I'll see you guys all shortly.
You made it 11,000. SJ. Huh? SJ. Oh, yeah, the ace jack. What do you have? What did you have? Huh? Before the SP?
in the Jackstar Shr.
So blinds are 1, 2, 2.
1,000, 2,000 with a 2,000 big blind ante, Keely, Food Circle Up and Bill.
Boys and girls, welcome back once again. We are here for the Jackstar Super High Roller Day 1. This is going to be our last session of play tonight. We've got another couple of hours, and current table lineup are going to bring us all of the action and excitement as we play down to the end of the day. My name is Corey Van Jay. I'll be covering all of that excitement for you. Blinds are 1,000, 2,000 with a 2,000 big blind ante.
Seven calls.
Gang here going to get us started with a Queen Deuce offsuit open.
8 calls.
Cheng Feng in the small going to make the call with the Ace 5 suited, and Rob going to feel priced in the big with his Ace Deuce.
Checks. 8 checks. 6 bets, 5.
King Jack 7 is the flop. It's a whiff for everyone.
Thank you.
They're going to fire the continuation bet here, and that is going to take this one down immediately. Gets the 2 ace highs to fold.
One fold, 2 folds, 3 folds, 4 raises to 4.
Oh.
5 calls, 6 folds.
A Queen Jack playing a couple of suited connectors here. The 7-6 of spades and 7-6 of diamonds. Both going to try and run him down here. Around to Rob in the big blind. Ace 8 suited. Going to oblige these guys a flop here. 20k in the middle already. 4 ways to the streets.
Actions on seat 9. Checks.
Could be a little bit of a fun flop here. Cheng Feng's going to pick up the diamond draw with that suited connector. Rob out in front with the top pair.
4 bet 6.5.
There's Paul, who's going to go ahead and fire the continuation bet into 3 players here.
They're like different cards, don't they?
They are different cards.
Oh, they are different cards.
6.5k, and I'd say this is going to probably get called twice.
Seven calls.
Feng unsurprisingly making the call with that diamond draw. Around to Rob with the top pair, medium kicker. We're not going to be loving the spot once there's a bet and a call here, but I think we're strong enough that for this price we can toss in a call, hope that things slow down for the duration of the hand. We are getting 5-1 here.
9 calls.
Occasionally be up against something like what we're up against. Sometimes there'll be a weaker ace in the mix somewhere. Sometimes there's a couple of flush draws that we're up against. Do we think the ace 8
9 checks
is going to be just good enough? Queen is going to improve Paul to a no good second pair here. There's a little bit of showdown value in case he's up against 2 different draws.
4 checks. Seven checks.
Things going to stay pretty friendly on the turn. 5 of clubs, not going to change anything for any of these holdings. Does put 4 to a straight on board, so I'd say there's a good chance we're going to see at least a couple of checks. Wow, Rob's actually going to go ahead and fire a block bet here. 12.6. I guess this is a value bet.
4 folds.
Pretty thin. I mean, we're mostly going to get called by better hands. We see the queen very quickly hitting the mark. 7 high, obviously not going to be calling.
For me, please. Thank you.
Perhaps more a consideration of trying not to get yourself blown off of the hand, preventing bluffs, something along those lines.
Raises to 4,000.
James here picking up a pretty reasonable hand under the gun here. Ace, King, and Aiden, which is immediate left, is going to pull the trigger on a 3-bet to 13,500 with the King Jack suited.
9 folds.
Looks pretty strong, but it is ill-timed. Would not expect the Ace King to ever be folding. Going to Pranav, Queen 10 suited in the big. Would love to be able to just flick a call in here, but facing that 3-bet from the 2 earliest positions, we are very frequently going to find ourselves dominated here.
Two ounces all in.
Surprisingly going to see the 4-bet jam here from James with the Ace King. A little bit of Hollywood before the fold here from Aiden. Can't do much with the King Jack suited apart from let it go.
3 folds. Can you give me 1,500 times, please?
Amanda joining us in the Facebook chat. Thanks for joining us. Thanks all for tuning in. Appreciate you all being here. If it's one of your buddies here on the stream table, let us know in the comments who you're cheering for. If you guys can hit those like and subscribe and follow buttons while you're here, we'd really appreciate it.
Three folds, 4 folds, 5 raises to 4,000. Six re-raises to 12,000. 7 folds, 8 folds, 9 folds.
Oh, what have we got here?
1 fold, 2 folds.
Yang with the king 2 of spades. Going to turn the heat up.
5 folds.
I hate pocket jacks. I hate pocket jacks.
Power poker there. Getting that 3-bet bluff through.
I'm really playing ace and kings like these.
Okay. Promise me to look at the screen. Please.
He's not saying he had jacks.
That is true.
Thank you. Four folds.
Four and a half.
So 5 raises to 4.5.
The worker over in the YouTube chat lets us know who
7
they're
folds.
cheering for, and somehow it's me. Well,
8
I'm
folds.
cheering for me too, but I don't know that I'm going to be the Aplpt
9
Jackstar champion this time around.
Fold. 1 fold. 4.5.
I'm about to make a pretty sad fold moments ago with the Queen 10 suited facing that 3-bet this time. The suited connector on the button, going to be able to get amongst it. Do see 1 pocket pair for Jonathan, early position. See another pocket pair for Aiden in the big.
And a call.
Suited with 2 overs to both of them.
Can you put the plug in for me?
Sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Okay, 3 runners. Actions on C3.
This is a pretty spectacular flop for Jonathan. He's found the middle set on the ace-high board. He's unfortunate to not be up against something a little bit stronger. Out of 8,000, around a half pot size. With the type of hand that might be happy to float heads
1
up,
folds.
wrapped around that 8 backdoor spades, but the player behind him will just relinquish, and Aiden with 2 overcards out there on the ace high is going to relinquish his pair as well. Jonathan just going to be picking up the pot as it is.
Just under 20 seconds before we close registration. So we'll be playing the main event, flying the remains at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 big blind deep. We shall have a deal.
5 folds.
And we will play 6 full levels before we back up in the main event. So deal is the main event, we shall have a deal.
6 raises to 4.1.
Dean Yang absolutely getting
7
after it with some pretty cheesy hands
8
so far,
folds.
but this time he's going to pick up the ace-10. Round to Rob with the same hand here. Against the
9
plus
re-raises
1
to
open, you
11,000.
generally want to play this a little bit cautiously, but I think Rob might have a sense of how wide Yang is opening. You can see the Queen Deuce off earlier, so he's going to put in the 3-bet, put the pressure back on his opponent. We're going to get out of the way, back over to Yang.
6 folds.
One thing to be opening wide, it's another thing to be calling 3-bets out of position with hands that are going to be frequently dominated, and Rob's going to pick up that pot, take it down pre.
Am I big?
No,
I'm big.
you are.
What the blinds now?
1, 2.
Oh, thank you. You anticipated my move.
C4, can I have a small blind, please? Thank you. folds, 7 folds, 8 folds, 9 folds, 1 raises to 4,000, 2 folds, 3 calls, 4 folds, 5 calls, 3 runners, actions on seat 5.
3 players to a flop here. It's not all that impressive of holdings pre-flop, but this is quite the flop we've got here. Pranav going to go ahead and flop himself a 4 high flush. Jonathan finds the bottom 2 on the flop, and Aiden's got the nut flush draw.
1 bet 7,000.
This could get bloated very, very quickly. Start off with a bet of 7k from Pranav, who currently does have the best hand. 50% equity with that bottom, with that 4 high flush. Go to Aiden with that ace of clubs here.
Call. 3 calls.
Going to start it off with a call, and Jonathan
5 calls.
going to make a very quick call himself. Off to a turn we go. 36,000 in the middle. Jack of clubs.
5 check.
Well, that might be a little bit of an action-killing turn card. Pranav going to have a pretty good idea that that 4 high flush is nowhere near as strong as it was a moment ago. Aiden will obviously be pretty happy. Picks up the nut flush. Not technically the nuts, but it's going to feel pretty close to it.
One bet 18,000.
Do see a second barrel of 18,000. I'm not 100% sure what the objective is behind this bet. Generally speaking, we want to have a pretty clear idea of whether we're value betting or bluffing, especially into multiple opponents. Not quite sure what kind of hands we're trying to make fold that are better than a 4 high flush. The suited connectors that make small flushes at this point are often going to actually be straight flush draws as well, so don't know that we're going to expect to actually get them out of there.
5 calls.
Do you see Jonathan let go of the worst hand of the 3 now?
On seat 1.
We're off to a river. Pranav officially drawing dead. Jack of spades on the river. I'm really thinking this through.
1 bet 80,000.
80,000 is the wager. I mean, at this point, this is very clearly a bluff, but I mean, we're trying to make our opponent fold a flush. Which flush are we trying to make them fold? Like a 10 high flush? Maybe. It's a little bit specific to me. I would rather actually bluff a weaker hand. I think this tank here from Aiden is contemplating whether he can raise his hand for value. We're never going to see him folding. have made some pretty embarrassingly confident and incorrect statements on this stream in the past, but I don't think this is going to be one of those times. 80k is a very polarizing bet.
3 calls.
And it does decide to make the call.
7. 1.
3, 4 clubs.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Hold your horses, guys. That bet was putting Aiden all
It
in.
makes sense if you check the turn and then check down with one small one.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think
I guess
you
he
bet
was
it.
thinking of folding.
He's got lots of ones.
Yeah.
You got lots of ones.
Check turn.
I mean, that would have been a pretty crazy fold. Yeah, I don't know what took so long. I would feel a little bit,
Small blind out now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd been slow rolled at that point.
I was trying to hold on tight there.
You were.
That one seems like a
Bugger, I've
pretty
got
clear
2
snap.
on the flop there, you know. But I thought I'd wait until 2 of the clubs.
Wayne over in the YouTube chat asks, are the stack sizes right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, I didn't even realize that the 80k bet
7
was
fold.
an all-in wager. Yeah, not a clue
8 fold.
why that took so long. We never ever even dream of folding with the ace-high flush there.
9 raises to 4.5.
We lose when our opponent has double-barreled into 2 people with 2 pair or a set on the 4 flush board, and then filled up on the river. That's how we lose.
2 fold.
That doesn't sound very
3
likely.
fold. 4
I
fold.
suppose we can lose to a straight flush,
5 fold.
but again, when we make the nut flush versus straight flush, you can just pay them off. It's fine.
6 fold.
Right, this time deciding to play his pocket tens a little bit slowly, and it is potentially going to save him here up against the bigger pair of Rob. Never mind. He does not need to be saved. He is the one in the driver's seat here, and Rob in big trouble. That Queen of Diamonds is already in the muck pile. Just 1 out to actually make the winner here. Backdoor spades are a possibility, but I think it's very likely Rob loses a substantial pot here.
9 bets, 5.6. Call.
I'm just going to start things off with a call here. Very draw-heavy board, but he is in position. Jack of Spades is not the turn card you're looking for with top set here, but that is a very important card for Rob here. He wouldn't have been suspecting that he was behind on the flop and needed to improve, but this Jack of Spades all of a sudden is going to substantially increase his chances of taking this pot down at showdown. Third spade on board might also help in preventing Pranav from turning this set into a raise. He might just feel it safer to call this second barrel on the turn here.
1. One re-raises to 42,000.
Not deterred by the spades. He's going to go ahead and put in that raise on the turn here. This has all of a sudden gotten really, really dicey for Rob. We're obviously already behind the value hands. There's a couple of value hands that have us drawing dead. We do have queen high flush draw. It's not impossible for our opponents to be holding the ace or king of spades and have that nutted. Got to try and come up with some bluffs that you're going to be ahead of if we want to be peeling this. I think we're going to have to be pretty creative to start finding them as well. Not a lot of natural bluffs. People might be thinking it could just be the ace of spades by itself, but you've got to think of a hand containing just the ace of spades it's going to call. Robert decides that there's going to be plenty of bluffs there. He just wants to run his equity. Going to go ahead and put in the jam here with the overpair plus flush draw. He's going to get the bad news. That overpair is basically just a flush draw. Do not think making a set fold was a part of the consideration behind the jam here. I don't think we should ever expect it to. I'm taking his time here, but I think we just have to sigh and snap this. Does eventually make the call, and Rob's going to see the bad news. He's basically playing a flush draw here. We're going to have to find the queen of hearts or a spade on the river. Eight of diamonds is not it. Perhaps going to find himself a big double up there. Queen's going down in flames.
So, 94-4. Button, please. Thank you. Eight folds, 9 folds, 1 fold, 2 raises to 4,000, 3 folds, 4 folds, 5 folds, 4,000. 6 calls, 7 folds. Heads up, actions on seat 6. Check.
Yeah, taking it the deuces, set mining here. Not able to find it on this flop though.
9,000.
See that coming through. Healthy size here as well.
6 folds.
And James going to take that one down. Getting very close to 100 total entries here in the Jackstar. Still got ourselves about an hour and a half of Rego left tonight, as well as one level of play tomorrow where players are still allowed
You didn't see?
to get back into the Jackstar. 150k guaranteed, of course. I'd say there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be cracking that.
1 fold, 2 folds,
King 2 spades.
3 folds, 4 folds, 5 folds.
When you can
6
see
raises
what's
for 4,000.
coming out.
7
haven't been
folds.
looking. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to hit the ace there. Yeah, I told you I'm coming for you.
8 folds.
Sorry?
Heads
Button
up.
versus big blind confrontation here. Yang with the ace 9. Saw him opening up the queen deuce earlier, so we know that he's got a pretty wide button range. Rob with the queen deuce this time. He is just going to completely whiff the flop though.
6 bets 5.1. 8 folds.
Yeah. I know. I want you to get some payback on him. It would have been so sweet with the eights as well. Yeah. Yeah.
James turn to loosen things up a little bit here. Ace 7 from the early position. Gonna make it all the way around to the blinds so far. Rob in the big with a not a totally undefendable hand. And that doesn't love being against an early position opener. And Rob does find himself dominated this time around as well. It's a whiff for both on the flop, however. Checks it over. C-bet should get the job done. Eights for Aiden, +1. Start with that min open all the way around to Rob. An ace on the button is going to get tossed into the muck. And another ace for Pranav in the big. Suited. Connected. Taking a flop here, and this one is all Pranav. Top and bottom pair here with the ace deuce. Just the one overcard for Aiden's pocket eights. Not going to feel too bad about this flop. Look at that. Aiden going to start things off with a continuation bet. Pranav going to pretty quickly toss in a check raise to 15k here. Don't see check raise bluffs on boards like this very often. This is ace high against an early position raiser. Certainly not unrealistic to think that Aiden might be holding an ace himself. Tossing in a bluff when it's so likely that you just toast. Seems pretty risky, and so you don't see people pulling the trigger on it very often, which maybe makes getting away from this eights a little bit easier. Shangfeng stepping well outside of the charts with this open. 5-4 from the hijack, but he's going to be immediately punished. James in the big with the pocket tens. Fires in the 3-bet. He's going to take that one down nice and easy. And I'm going to make the loose defend on the button here with the king 10. Probably pre-flop aggressor. Whiffing this flop. Just a couple of backdoor draws here for him so far. He's up against a hand that might be weak enough that he can push out of this pot with a continuation bet. It's an easy game until it isn't. Robert does take that one down. Pranav just relinquishing the king 10 high. Yang going after it with the suited connector here. And Feng with the ace king. Going to drop the 3-bet in there. Yang not ready to let go of that suited connector pre-flop. Does flick in the call. Is going to just pick up a couple of backdoor draws on this flop. Ace king still out in the lead. See that, and Yang decides he's going to float with all those backdoor draws, but this king of spades on the turn is going to basically seal the deal. Not only can Shang Feng not lose this at showdown, it's going to be pretty difficult to imagine him getting blown off of the hand at any point either. Second barrel going to unsurprisingly get the job done against the 9 high. New level, 1224 now. Got this and one more level after this until we will bag this one up for the evening. At an hour and 20 to go. Feng getting after it here. 10-9 off, he reckons. From the +1 position over to Rob. Pretty good excuse to flick a call in with the Jack 10 of hearts. Over to Aiden. Kind of hand that makes a great open from the button, but generally doesn't make a good defend against an early position raise and a call. But somehow Aiden's managed to find a time where he's dominating both of his opponents. We're going to flick the call in with the 9-6 suited, and we're going 4 ways to a flop here. Rob, the only really nice looking hand between the lot of them, but it is Aiden's king high that it is currently out in the lead. And that king 10 is going to maintain the lead here, but there is a little bit for everyone. Aside from Aiden, who's caught that top pair, every other player in this hand has picked up a straight draw. Rob chasing a 9 to make his straight. Backdoor flush draw to go along with it, just in case. Both Paul and Shang Feng have flopped a unique open-ender as well. Aiden with the top pair, having everyone dominated basically, still only a 50% favourite to actually hold. Rob with the weakest of the draws is going to stick around, and I would say if he's going to stick around, probably everyone is. Over to Aiden with the top pair. The price is reasonably good. Paul here with a bet and 2 calls in front of him. He's got to be wondering, what am I up against here? But we have an open-ender. Only one end is to the nuts, but Jack 9 isn't that likely of a hand to be up against, you wouldn't think. Suited variety does make some sense, but it's a very key turn card coming here. Everyone's thinking of a card, and the Jack of Clubs is one of the ones that Sheng Feng is actually thinking. Made a super loose open from early position here with a 10-9 off, but he's found himself the nut straight on the turn here. No flush draws in play. His only concern would be chopping this pot. Aiden now has picked up a straight draw. Rob has got a straight draw. Paul has got a straight draw. Sheng Feng actually does have the straight, and he has checked it all the way over to Aiden. I don't think there's any good reason to be betting this and opening the door to our opponents to check raise us. Risk reward is certainly not skewed in our favor. Betting here when it works maybe squeezes an extra 18 to 25,000 chips of value out. When it doesn't work, we get check raised, blown off of our hand. Four of Clubs river is safe. No players with that flush draw that does complete. Paul ends this hand with just a 9 high, so he's safe. Rob with a weak bluff catcher in that second pair. Aiden with an okay bluff catcher in that top pair. These guys probably at this point have figured out how wide Sheng Feng's opening range is, so they may not want to give him credit for a hand when he bets this river. 33k, very healthy size, around 2/3 the size of the pot. Rob may be a little bit suspicious, but is Rob obviously staring directly into the camera? It felt like he was looking into my soul. Rob Lou here. With players behind, really difficult to make this call with the jack. I think he's just very suspicious. Seen Sheng Feng opening the likes of 6-5 offsuit. Which, ironically, here would actually also be good for a straight. We must have a camera set up like right next to the screen that the stream is on, because Rob there in seat 8 seems to keep staring directly into my eyes. Probably will relinquish the second pair over to Aiden, and this is a bit of a trickier spot now. We've got a stronger bluff catcher. We've got a 10, which is a decent blocker. Only one player behind. You would think Paul is not that likely to wake up with a strong hand here after not check raising on the flop. We do see a couple of good folds here, and Sheng Feng's going to take this one down with that straight. got a few actual hands here. Shang Feng with a pocket pair has opened up, made it all the way around to the blinds. Jonathan with the ace-10 decides to make the call. Yang in the big with the ace-jack. Doesn't want to bloat this plot. Happy enough to just flick in the call himself. Sixes are out in front here. Paired board. A little more difficult for our opponents to have connected. Shang Feng is going to start with a 1/4 pot size bet here, and Jonathan's not ready to believe him just yet with the ace-10. Given the holdings that Shang Feng has shown down so far, even with these early position opens, definitely don't blame Jonathan for sticking around. Yang is going to do the same here, even after the call from Jonathan. Shang Feng sixes are still ahead. Going to this turn card, a lot of counterfeit outs now. Kings and eights would see the two ace highs be chopping it up. On the river, that's going to see Jonathan take the lead. Small block bet on the river of 8,000. Yang not interested. Shang Feng with an underpair to the board. Can beat. Not much. But the price is pretty good. No price quite good enough when you have 0% equity, but this price does look attractive, and Jonathan's... Oh, I was about to say Jonathan squeezed some value out, but no, he has found an adversary in Shang Feng here. 29,000 to go. Shang Feng figures that those sixes are no good, but he's not totally convinced that he's up against a strong hand. Finds the raise, turns the underpair into a bluff, and he has stolen this pot away. That is some street poker. Fantastic read on the situation and fantastically executed. Lost a pretty significant pot earlier on to the pocket tens with his queens. This time, his turn to pick up the tens, and he's going to get some action here. James going to be a customer with the ace-king suited. Reasonable chance that this just gets in pre. James very capable of finding 3-bet bluffs here, and Rob's going to be keenly aware of that. Tens against an aggressive opponent like this make a pretty decent 4-bet. We get to deny a lot of equity, remove our positional disadvantage. We do have good equity when called. Make no mistake, if we jam here, we are getting called. Snap call on their backs. It's going to be a fair fight, boys and girls. Rob looking for a clean run out to stay alive in this thing. James looking for an ace, a king, or a collection of diamonds. James now also looking for a 10. Diamonds in play. A lot of river cards are going to see Rob hit the rail. The 10 of hearts is one of them. That's a no good set on the river. Ace King makes Broadway. And Rob, in a pretty nasty fashion, is going to be sent off. That's a 6-figure pot heading the way of James Hopkins. I'm going to pick up the sexy boys under the gun here. And stick around with a call with the 8-7 suited. Sheng Feng, he's been super fast and loose, but not going to get involved with the ace-10. Over to Robin the Big with the 9-8. Flop is pretty good here for Pranav. Not only has he got the overpair, but both of his opponents have caught top pair. Eight and a half is the price. Over to the first of the top pairs. All right, so far Pranav's managed to squeeze a street of value out of both of his opponents. To a turn card, 10 of clubs. The Jack's going to maintain that overpair. It's not that scary of an overcard for either of those pairs of eights either. Checked over to Pranav. I'm going to be feeling a little bit hesitant facing a bet and 2 calls, but there is plenty of things that we can still be ahead of. Obviously, some top pairs that we're beating. 9-8s, 8-7s, 8-6s. The 10-8s got us on the turn. But there's going to be a number of straight draws that are still drawing, flush draws that are going to call us on the flop. Now, Jacks are a hand that's pretty vulnerable and will benefit quite a bit from some equity denial as well. I'm going to muster up a second barrel. This is a big bet on the turn. I'd like to see this a little bit smaller so that hands like an 8 are still able to continue to call us. Do see one of the flop's top pairs hitting the mark. For this size, I imagine we'll see Rob getting out of the way as well. Prav's just bet something like, what, 80% pot into 2 players after getting called twice on the flop. This looks really strong. And yeah, look, this is similar to a spot earlier where I pointed out if players are folding the hand that's just below the hand strength of ours, that's often a sign that we're maybe going a little bit too thin, or we maybe need to make our bet a little bit easier to call in order to get more value. And I think this might be an example of that. Flop top pair twice, able to get away while we're betting our overpair for value. It does mean that if we do get called, it's far more likely that our overpair is actually no longer the best hand. Don't want to be turning a situation that's great for us into a situation that's actually pretty dire. All the way around to the blinds this hand. I'm going to start off with a limp here. James, 3-2 off. This hand is pretty garbage. What we'll sometimes see facing these small blind limps is when our hand is so bad that we don't even really want a cheap flop, we'll sometimes go ahead and turn that into a bluff. Pranav's hand is strong enough and playable enough that I suspect we will see him toss in the additional 5,000 here. Oh, look at that. Spicy. Pranav's going to go ahead and turn his suited gapper into a limp raise. Beautiful aggressive poker there. He knows his opponent's up to no good. We could have a pot brewing here. Got a couple of pocket pairs getting into the mix. Yang's 9s opening from +2. Wow, we see the 8s folded. Pranav not going to get himself into trouble. Rob probably has a good idea of how wide Yang has been opening. Puts in the 3, but with the ace-jack, and we're all the way around to Aiden in the big blind now. Starting this hand, a bit over 60 bigs effective. Really awkward spot here with pocket 10s, facing so much aggression in front of you already. A spot similar to this with an ace-queen, where all of your options seem not great. Cold calling against the 2 players in position on you doesn't feel very good. Folding pocket 10s doesn't feel very good. And putting in the 4-bet almost feels like an overplay. But again, we just have to pick one of the not so great options and kind of hope for the best from there. 4-betting, especially against aggressive opponents, generally going to be the better of the 3 options, but it is going to be by far the highest variance route of the 3 as well. This time, a beautifully timed 4-bet from Aiden is going to take this pot down. 50k in the middle there, and it's all heading Aiden's way. The latest update on that player count as well. So we have ticked over 100 entries now. Raise and take it there for James. Bit of a looser open on the button, but he is going to get it all the way through. Followed round to Pranav. Small pocket pair in the hijack. Over to James in the cutoff. 5k is the current bet. We are unsurprisingly going to see that price increased. $17.5. Healthy 3-bet size here. Back to Pranav. We are pretty deep here. Starting the hand close to 70 bigs effective. Pranav is the covering stack. In fact, currently the biggest stack at the table. Not getting the greatest price, but it's a hand with very good implied odds. Not this time, though. We'll make the discipline fold. Bang, bang. King 9 suited from under the gun, going to get after it. Fold around to Aiden, who does have him dominated here in the cutoff. I'm going to speculate a little bit with the 6-3 suited here. Yang, of course, going to toss in the remainder of the wager with the Jack 9 of clubs. Somehow Jonathan actually has found himself the best hand on the flop here. It is ace high. None of the players are going to be enjoying that ace being out there. Sheng Feng decided to rep it. There's a small chance he takes this down. Queen on the turn, somehow still nobody connecting apart from that pair of threes. Does introduce a gut shot for Aiden. Those backdoor hearts are not going to be a factor. Checked over to Sheng Feng here. Doesn't really make sense to start betting on the turn now once we've checked the flop. Kind of just have to wave the white flag. Aiden with that gut shot going to just check it back as well. And, well, we're going to find a river card that actually does connect with the players in the hand. Jonathan was good until this river with that pair of threes, but we're going to see Sheng Feng improve to a no good second pair. That jack kicker for Aiden is going to play. Checked over to Aiden. Now he is the last to act here. He was in an earlier position. Be extremely difficult to ever try and value bet his hand, but he's made a really good read on the situation. Doesn't seem to be an ace lying in wait anywhere, so he's going to try and get some value out of his second pair with the best possible kicker. And he's up against just the type of hand that he's targeting. $10K is the wager, just a little under half pot. We saw Sheng Feng earlier in a spot with his underpair that he realised was no good on the river. Put in a very aggressive and very well-timed raise to take that pot down, but I think the body language at this point has given away that raising is not something that he's contemplating here. He's just deciding whether he can hero this off or not. Wow, great discipline fold. Sheng Feng certainly happy to get after it and speculate with some pretty loose hands pre-flop, but his instincts post-flop are making it work for him. He's done a great job of sniffing out exactly where he's at in some of these hands. Ace Queen suited here for Aiden. Very nice starting hand here in the hijack. Going to get all the way around to the blinds. Seen Sheng Feng pretty happy to play hands pre, but 9-4 off in the big blind, not quite going to cut it for him. A little over half the field eliminated so far here in the Jackstar. One level left of Rego today, one level left tomorrow. So that 150k guarantee is not going to stand up a whole lot longer. Pretty good spot to jump in and late register. If you guys are on the fence about it, watching at home and can get the Canterbury-Hurlstone Park RSL for start of play tomorrow at midday, I'd highly recommend getting in there. Eight 7 suited under the gun for Pranav. I'm going to see a pocket pair as a contender in this pot for Jonathan. 5k called. Couple of pretty unimpressive hands otherwise. It does look like Rob in the big blind has made the call as well, just letting that graphic catch up. Queen Jack off certainly makes sense. And this is an interesting flop. So Jonathan's pocket fours aren't looking all that impressive with the 3 overcards out there, but both Pranav and Rob have flopped an open-ender here. Rob's is clearly the one that you would prefer to have. 9 of clubs repeat on the turn. Fours are still in front. Difficult for them to know it. And we see that with all those counterfeit outs now introduced, Rob's queen high is actually the odds-on favourite between the 3. And he is the one that's going to be betting. OK's the wager. Around about half pot. Best hand does fold. The 4s are out of the way. And that is all Pranav. He's able to find his live pair out on the river. The question is he going to be able to call a river bet if Rob decides to fire one? If we are going to be firing a bluff here, it's important that we know what we're targeting. We're trying to make something like a straight draw fold. Are we trying to make something like an ace high fold? How likely are we to actually be up against those types of hands? Don't think we're going to get him off top paired. Obviously not going to get him off a 9. Do we think we can make him fold a 7, the hand exactly like he has? 32,000 is a pretty good amount to get it done. Pranav really being put to the test here. Managed to catch his card on the river, but is that going to be good enough to take down this pot facing this river action? He does make the fold. Rob's going to pick up the pot. Now, guys, we are going to finish up on the stream from that hand. These guys are going to play it out a little bit longer, but the stream will be wrapping up here. We will be back on tomorrow. 12 p.m. it's going to kick off. One more level of late reg, and we will be hopefully playing that one down to a winner tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you all then. Have a good rest.